The first time I held hands with love, it took me places my wallet could never have. Wait. I ain't talking about those delusional things like pretending to be NASA and going to the moon and back, or reaching for the stars. This one was authentic. Hello, my clan. Welcome to Making Sense of the Album, episode 4. So today we're concentrating on track 4, which is Held Hands with Love. So I wanted a second piece themed about love, but then I didn't want it to sound all rosy because when it comes to issues of love, it is not every time that you are expecting to be happy. It comes with sadness, arguments, together with the romance that is any relationship would have. But mostly it is a combination of both sadness and happiness. That's what makes a relationship. Yeah, actually, if you've read my book, which is known as Tales of Affection, which I wrote somewhere in 2021, you find to say there are some quotes that I had written, like a quote that says, love is what remains when the romance, affection, and attention is removed. Okay, so what remains after all these nice things have been removed is what is called love. That thing that convicts you to still want to be with them when all the rosy things are removed. That is what I call love. So I wrote this piece in a place I used to work at, somewhere in the rural areas. So the setup of the place was mountainous and everything. So at some times, somewhere in the afternoon after work, I could go to the mountains to just go and take a breather, get some inspiration and everything. So one day when I was on top of the mountain, I thought of writing a piece like that. So that is when I wrote the first part, that is rosy. But then when I read through it, I thought, okay, this is nice, yes, but what if I just, introduced a pivotal episode where it just turns from something that is exciting and happy to something that is emotional, heart melting, and sad. So that is when I introduced the part that is sad in the piece. Okay, so if you notice the first lines in the poem, the first time I held hands with love, it took me to places my wallet could never have. Okay, so I said, wait, not those delusional things like pretending to be NASA and going to the moon and back. When you notice those lines, I was trying to play around with words, but I was just being expressive about what love can do. Okay, it can make you imagine things that you've never thought to imagine. Okay, so that is what I meant when I said love took me to places my wallet could never have, because the mind has no borders. It can take you to the UK when you don't even have a passport. You've seen. Yes. Yeah, then when I introduced the pivotal episode, where it transitions to being sad, that is where now I talk about how things went wrong in this love story and how these people are no longer the same without each other anymore. Yeah. Then the instrument, of course, I played a bit of some synth instruments, pianos, and it's a bit cinematic because there are some big drops in the drums at the end of the piece with a lot of vocals. Yeah. So that is Held Hands with Love. And if you haven't streamed the album yet, it's on all digital streaming platforms, and you can follow me on my socials at Mr. Maxaint. See you in the next episode.